Hello, hello. This is Johnny Cycles with CyclesGaming.com, bringing you a deck tech for our Keeping Modern Janky deck I've been working on that I'm writing about this week for CyclesGaming.com. I call it Boros Lukka Surprise. If you're unfamiliar with the strategy of Lukka Surprise, we're looking to play one or two drop creatures, no bigger, and then stick a Lukka on turn 5 or turn 6. Use his -2 ability to exile one of our two drops to turn him into an Emrakul. We do it on turn 5. If we're not worried about removal, then we can untap and swing in. If we're worried about our opponent having an answer to the Emrakul, then we can wait until we have 6 mana out and use the Bitter Reunion's second ability, sacrifice it for 1 mana to give our creatures haste. We turn our 2-drop into Emrakul, sacrifice this, give our Emrakul haste, and swing out for Annihilator 6 and 15/15 in the air. So the Boros build, what Boros brings to the table that some of my other versions didn't, is a more taxing element. So I envision this deck as being a hate deck to the meta. Shortly after the Pro Tour, we have a more solidified meta. So what can we do to hate out on that meta? Well, the deck has changed quite a bit. You can see over here I have a variety of different names. I've tried out a variety of different builds. So what are we trying to hate out in this particular build? Well, Containment Priest against reanimation strategies, Archon of Cruelty and whatnot. High Noon slows down a lot of different decks out there, not just the obvious being like Prowess and Storm, but it can really hurt Amulet Titan as well, which is looking to basically go off in a single turn. Grand Abolisher, now this is less of a hate piece and more of a protection piece. So right now our 2-drops are kind of divided into protection of our own combo and hating on our opponents. So we'll skip that for now. White Orchid Phantom hates on the big mana out there, Eldrazi. And that's about all of the hate pieces we have in this build. Our protection pieces are Grand Abolisher, so that our opponent can't interact with our combo on our turn, and Kraza of the Swarm is 1, so that they can't counter our combo or the Planeswalker. Otherwise, Ragavan in the 1-drop slot is a way to just force an answer from our opponent that will give us a better chance of having one of our 2-drops not get killed by spot removal when we go to make it into an Emrakul. It also can ramp us a little bit. We have some lightning bolts for removal, March of Otherworldly Light to help against kind of a catch-all against a variety of different problems, and of course the one of Emrakul. We also have land hate strategy amongst our lands. So Ghost Quarter destroys any land, Field of Ruin, non-basic land. We can hopefully slow down our opponents enough with this 10 cards of land hate that we can execute our combo before they execute theirs. In the sideboard, again, this has been a work in progress. We see some of the other possible 2-drops that we could put into the deck depending on the meta. Ademi of the Silk Shoots, the Spectacular Spider-Man or whatever. This guy is another way to protect our combo. He has Flash, which is kind of nice. It plays well with High Noon. It does cost a lot of mana to flash him in and protect our combo versus something like Surge of Salvation. So there's some redundancy here. You see that maybe we want to get rid of one of these two. I like having the creature option because we don't want to water down our own combo where we're just we find the Lukka but we can't find a 2-drop. Doorkeeper Thrall, good against any sort of ETB creatures and artifacts. Rest in Peace gives us another layer of protection against the graveyard strategies, which we just have a hard time racing. They're so fast. Meltdown to fight against Affinity and can help against something like Amulet Titan. And then, of course, Surge of Salvation to protect our combo and protect our hand. And so that's Boros Lukka Surprise. Now let's take a quick look at some of the other 2-drop creatures that we could play in previous versions. So here I tried out Esper Sentinel over Ragavan, thinking, okay, this is the more taxing build. He's good. It's just late game, man. It's painful to draw him. Whereas with a Ragavan, it's often, if you're on an empty board, Esper Sentinel not great. Ragavan pretty much can win you the game on its own. Leonin Arbiter I was tested out. I didn't really get to ever see him do his thing, which is really tax our opponent's fetching ability. After playing my league and running into Amulet Titan twice, I kind of wish I'd kept him in the main. But this combos nicely with Field of Ruin and Ghost Quarter to really hurt our opponent's mana. Cleansing Wildfire, you see, is also land destruction. So this is kind of like my main land destruction version. Gives us a little bit of card draw, blows up a land. And then with Leon and Arbiter, hopefully they don't get any land out of it, right? So here we have like 6, 10, 13 ways of hating on land. But that leaves us, with so much land hate, it leaves us vulnerable to some other strategies. See, no Containment Priest in the main deck, not even in the sideboard. Solitude in the sideboard, which is kind of risky because you can spin into it with Lukka. Boros Hate, number 3 with Sanctifier and Vec, which gives us a main deck hate against the graveyard strategies, against their graveyard in particular, but it nombos with our Lukka, we can't target it. So I didn't test this one out for too long. Thalia guarding a Thraben, and great against a lot of the decks out there that are, whether it's against spot removal or combo decks or Storm, but it also slows us down. We want to be able to hit our Lukka on turn 5. We're already pretty slow. So I didn't play this for very long either. And so I settled on this version. Let me know what you think in the comments. What other 2-drops would you play in this particular build to try to slow down our opponent long enough to stick our own combo? And what do you think of the deck? The gameplay should already be up, some of it on YouTube. I'll be posting the rest of it as the day goes on, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments what you think. This is Johnny Cycles with cyclesgaming.com. I'll catch y'all on the next one.